You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Lots of cool things going on in the Chris Voss Show. Be sure for your friends, neighbors, relatives to go to thecvpn.com and ChrisVossPodcastNetwork.com. The podcast has been blowing up. We actually did 10% of the volume of downloads and people listening to the show that we have done in 10 years, and we did 10% of that last month. So that's pretty freaking incredible. Basically, in 10 months, we'll do the same amount of volume in downloads that we did in a year. And we're growing, of course, rapidly. And mainly it's because we've got such incredible guests, incredible authors, critical book people on the thing. You can follow me at goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Also, to see the video versions of all these things, go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. You can subscribe and all that good stuff and check out the show. Yeah, I think that's all the different links we want to take and plug. We've been reviewing over the last years a company called Lutron, and Lutron's been making lots of Internet of Tech, knowledge-y things, different products you can have for your home, et cetera, et cetera. And we've done several reviews here recently. And today we have Melissa Andresco. She is the chief brand ambassador for Lutron on the show. And we're going to talk about some of the reviews we've done and also what Lutron is doing, especially for people that are working from home these days. Welcome to the show, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks for having me, and congrats on your success with your listeners. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We looked at the last month and we're like, what
it's amazing.
The heck? But, we've had a lot of great people on the show and people like yourself. Recently, we reviewed, the Lutron Smart Blinds by Serena. We, of course, have the Caseta. Did I say that right? By Lutron Smart Lighting.
Caseta, yeah.
Caseta. Man, I'm going to have to go to some language training, I guess, and learn. Clearly, I went to public school, so there's that. That's my joke. So, Melissa, tell us what's going on with you guys over there at Lutron and how you guys are helping, especially people like me now who are working at home pretty much full-time at making their ambiance around their home better.
Yeah. So, Chris, thanks. For people who might not be familiar with Lutron, we've been around for almost 60 years. Next year will be our 60th anniversary as a company, and so much growth over those 60 years. And we started out as the company that was making the rotary dimmer for the dining room that you probably saw in, grandparents' house, relatives' house. I like to always tease some of my colleagues here. When I was little, I used to pull the knob off of the dimmer at my grandmother's house, and I'd hide it. And that was kind of like my cousin and my big joke. Who knew I would grow up to work for that company? But, mischievous.
Do you do that at the office, at the Lutron office?
I don't. No, I refrain from that now. But but anyway, so Lutron started out as the company making the rotary round knob dimmer, most commonly seen in dining rooms. And today, here we are 60 years later, doing everything from connected homes to connected offices, and that includes controls of lights, shades, temperature. We recently acquired a smart fixture company, so now we're also offering lighting as well, and at every price point, which is super exciting for consumers because you can afford to put this in any size home and do so really affordably. And the systems grow as your needs change and as you maybe modify your home. So it's just a great story in terms of just building onto the house and making those spaces richer and, to your point, easier to use now that so many of us are at home more often. Not only do our products do great things on their own, but they interface with all of the common smart home products that are available today. So to your point, let's start with voice assistants. They interface with the Apple, Amazon, and Google voice assistants. So you could simply say something like, Alexa, turn on Good Morning. And all of a sudden, lights come on to a certain level, your shades will rise, your music could be triggered by your Sonos smart speakers. So just this wonderful immersive experience that's just getting easier and easier, not only to implement in your home, but just to operate. I mean, if one simple command, triggers so many different products throughout the home. So the time saver and just anything that we can do to make life a little easier for everybody these days. I mean, I think it's just a great feature to have, and, is not any additional money to do so. As long as you have the compatible products, making them all work together is really easily done within the apps. So great value to the customer.
Lutron gives you a mixture of both manual devices that you can take and have like remote controls if you want to control dimming or lighting and switches and everything else. You can use like little manual things. They're very inexpensive. That's the other thing that's been great about Lutron. Or you can use your app, or you can call out to the different voice services. So you've got a lot of different things that you can take and do there. And it's very inexpensive. Early on, with IoT being coming out, we saw a lot of expensive stuff and a lot of expensive hubs and a lot of expensive controls. And with some of the IoT stuff that's out there, you really only have like either the app. Sometimes they just have the app and it's like you have to use the app. A lot more stuff nowadays have the voice integration with the Alexa and Google. But you guys also have like the remote controls. Like if you just want to be manual, you can do that as well. And some people are very tactile like that. They like the manual. There are times where I think my mom had some issues with Alexa, and she just, for some reason, her and Alexa didn't get along. She's arguing with it, yelling at it, and everyone's different, I guess, in their thing. And so for her, either manual or going with Google was better. And so having that variety of choices, I think, makes it better for the consumer as well.
It sure does. And so the thing about voice, voice is great, but let's be real. Voice isn't always appropriate. If I need to control my lights in the middle of the night, or if I'm on a conference call, I'm not going to yell out to my voice assistant to adjust my lights, which is why, to your point, that manual, what we call our Pico remote control, is great, because that way you're not having to open your app and, get to the right page, turn on the light. You're not having to disrupt your conversation or somebody's sleep by shouting to the voice assistant. You've got a simple, bedside control or coffee table control or wall-mounted control that can easily, trigger lights to come on or your shades to raise or lower. So we love being able to give people those choices. Also giving them control at the individual device. So if you walk into a room and you're, maybe the kids moved the Pico remote off of the coffee table, you can still go right up to the dimmer or the switch itself and control it right from there. So we love being able to give people a variety of options so that regardless of, whatever their situation is, they can easily control the lights and shades.
And so you guys make dimmers, light switches that you can install so you can replace the light switches in your homes, fan controls, timers, in-wall sensors, LED dimmers, wall plate, and accessories are some of the standalone products you guys take and make. One of the funny things about me is I love IoT stuff. And so if I'm gaming, like if I'm gaming in my office, I'm on my beautiful gaming computer right now. If I'm gaming, I turn the lights off so I don't have the glare and I can focus on what I'm gaming. And so a lot of people hear me in game mode where I go, hey, GGLE, turn off the lights or lower the lights or something, so that I don't get the glare. And like people that are in my game will be like, dude, does that actually work? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's like really cool. It's so nice because I'm not a morning person either. So usually when I stumble in the morning, I'm trying to get a coffee made. And so I'm not looking for lights and switches and everything else. So I'm just always like, hey, turn on the lights and get everything going, get everything cooking. And having that is so nice, especially if you go to bed at night. And then one of the things I love is I have dogs, and my dogs, sometimes in the middle of the night, they're like, hey, we got to go outside and do our business. And I'm like, seriously? Yeah. And so, you don't want to find light switches when you're half asleep and, you're stumbling over everything that's on the floor. And so what's nice is you can just call out, the lights come on, you can find your way, let the dogs, do your thing. I love the whole automation thing of it. When I go to bed at night, I'm too tired to go find the light switches, turn it on. I'm not sure I know where the light switches are anymore in my house, actually, because I'm so used to talking to them. And it really saves stuff. And then a lot of your guys' stuff is really cool dimmers. So you can just say, hey, dim the lights 50%. Hey, dim the lights this certain sort of whatever percent you want. And you can get that nice ambiance that you want to take and have. You can create and set moods and everything else. And I think that really makes a difference in the quality of people's lives, especially when you're spending all your time at home nowadays.
Yeah, and to your point, Chris, lighting has become more important than ever in the home. I mean, especially when you think about the versatility that we need in our homes. Maybe, someone, parents are doing, conference calls, need to have lights a certain level. Maybe the kids are doing homework or arts and crafts in that same space. Or maybe you're trying to socially distance, entertain a neighbor for, a glass of wine. Each one of those is going to require a different set of really of light levels. So having the flexibility to adjust light. So, like right now, you and I are doing a video and we're doing a podcast. The lighting has to be just right for both of us for this to look good. The same level of light would be, not appropriate if I was holding a meeting in this room or if we were doing a video conference on the screen. So it's really, lighting and the concept of this home office and creating this home office has really become, more important than ever. And, what's great about Lutron too is if you're not ready for a connected home or a smart home, or maybe you don't think you need it, we still offer a lot of really great products that are not connected to the internet that are still going to give you that same flexibility and let you create those perfect, lighting scenarios for whatever occasion you need. So again, super affordable. And again, the smart home maybe isn't for everybody, but we've got solutions for those people who maybe aren't quite ready to make that leap.
And then the hubs will take and control a lot of different things. Let's talk about the new wood blinds that we reviewed on the Chris Voss Show. You can see the Serena wood blinds. These things I gave to my mom, and I'm not an installer. I'm like one of those people that I think years ago I was building desks in our offices, and my business partner, I built a desk and glued it and put it all together. And within 5 minutes of being done, it like literally fell apart into all the pieces on the floor. And my business partner said, construction is your thing. CEO is your thing. Thinking about stuff and ideas, but not building, Chris. Construction is not your thing. And so I was a little worried when, Lutron was like, hey, we're going to send you these wood blinds. We want to review them. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to have to install these things. And I'm not good at this stuff. And so we got the wood blinds. In fact, we should probably plug the Serena website. Do you know the .com off the top of your head for this?
Yeah, sure. It's Serena, SERENA, shades, SHADES.com.
There you go. So check out Serena Shades. And you can see the review on YouTube and, of course, the ChrisVossShow.com. So I got them, and it was just amazing. And it was really easy to order them. You go online, they teach you how to measure them, because that was the other thing I was worried about. I'm like, I'm going to screw up the measuring. They're going to come. It's going to be too, I'm going to screw the whole thing up because I'm just all thumbs. And so it came. The setup was easy. They built them. They customized them for you. You put in the inches and everything, and they ask you a billion questions to make sure that everything is just perfect. You can set it up. I think there's wood blinds, and I think, isn't there two different other blind things that you can take and get other than wood?
Yeah, you can get roller shades, and you can get Roman shades as well. You can do honeycomb. There's a lot of different styles depending on your preferred window treatment type.
Yeah. And so we got the wood blinds, and they're the ones we got are battery operated. There's several different versions.
Yep.
You get battery, you can get I think it's inline plug where it's wired, and then I think the other one, I can't remember what the third one is. Do you remember?
It's plug-in, or it's either the wired version that you have to wire like into the window, into the ceiling, or a battery.
There you go. And there's just so many variations, but you literally can customize it right down to how exactly you want it, including the top part that goes over the blind that makes it look really nice. And so I installed them. It was like really easy. I pulled the old units down. I think it took me longer to pull them down to install the thing because we were having to unscrew them, and I was having to try and figure out, okay, so how does this work? And put it in, it latches in nicely, put the batteries in, and they look beautiful. Like we went from like just, I don't know, whatever old blinds we had that were kind of these old vinyl blinds to these beautiful wood blinds. And the thing I love about them is there's like, you know how there's the cord that you're always pulling and fiddling with whenever you want to work the blinds, and you're always messing with them and it's hanging down. It's always getting caught. There's none of that. There's there's none of that sort of stuff. They tilt on the automation, and you can either use the remote control. Of course, you need the Lutron hub for that, but or you can just talk into the Google machine or the Alexa machine and say, hey, turn the blinds, open the blinds 50%. And then the other nice thing that my mom really loves is that you can program it to where it knows it knows where you're at on the planet. And it knows when the sun comes up, when the sun sets, and it will open and close the blinds. She's a woman. She likes to have the blinds closed at night so people aren't looking at her home at her. And then in the morning, she's got the beautiful sun, and you can actually program it so the sun, the shades will follow the sun, so you know it's not blasting into your room throughout the day. It's really freaking nice.
Yeah. Wow. You just did a great job explaining it. Thank you.
Yeah. It was really cool.
You know, to get just, you know, if we could even just take a step back, because some people might not even realize that there are smart window treatments out there. And we appreciate that, you know, you obviously enjoyed your experience and gave it a great review. But, you know, people might not realize that these types of things exist, or, you know, what's interesting is for the longest time, I'll say Lutron's been in the motorized shade business for over 20 years. And for the early part of that, Lutron shades and all motorized shades in the market for that matter were really for the highest end homes. They were very expensive. They had to be installed really when the house was being built. You didn't really have a lot of flexibility. They didn't have the kind of precision that motorized shades offer today with that precision alignment. Today's shades are silent. Other versions, you know, or some of them that are on the market today, not from Lutron, they have, you know, there's a lot of audible sound that you hear as they're opening and closing. So not only have Lutron come a long way technologically, but we've also made them a product that can be outfitted in any home. So to your point, we now have battery-powered, do-it-yourself, or, you know, help with a phone call away, shades that come in a variety of colors and styles. And really and truly, like once you have one automated window treatment in your house, you're literally going to stop and be like, where have these been all my life? Because they're great for hard to reach windows that maybe the shades have been closed for the last 5 years because it's just a pain to get up there and try to open and close them. Great for people with limited mobility, or who maybe can't, you know, use their wrist to, you know, turn a mini blind or whatever. So giving people the power to have control over the amount of sunlight streaming in is a very powerful thing. And let's face it, not just high-end homes suffer from screen glare or sun beating down on the floors and the furniture. Like, that's a problem that every home or every apartment would have. So the fact that Lutron, you know, took a step back and said, you know what, we need to re-engineer these so that every kind of household, regardless of size or price, could have these in their home. And so that's really how that Serena shade brand was really born many years ago. And so these great new wood blinds are just the latest iteration in that family. And we're super excited about them. They just offer so many tremendous benefits to the homeowner who love that look of wood blinds.
One of the things that I really love about the wood blinds from Lutron is how clean they look. I'm looking right now at the vinyl blinds that we have in my office, the old ones, and there's like this huge cord coming down. That's, you know, the cord for messing with it, turning it and stuff. And it just, when you look at it, it just looks awful because you're just like, what? There's this, and it's going down the wall and crap. And you don't have that with the Lutron blinds. There's none of that cord stuff because it's all automated. You can either use the remote,
right,
or you can use the voice thing, or you can use the app if you want. And so it's so clean looking. I mean, that was one of the things I noticed about it, because at first I was like, hey, where's the cord? And then I like realized that, like, hey, idiot, you don't need the cord, man, anymore. Like, and so it just looks really clean and nice. And now anytime I look at the blinds like I have down here, and I go, man, this really looks awful.
Well, and it's really cool too when you have the roller shades or the honeycombs and you see them actually raise and lower. When you see a wall of them raise and lower in precision alignment, it's very cool. You know, you don't typically, I know in other houses I've had before Lutron, when you have mini blinds and you're always trying to get them just to the right height so that it's, even across. You don't have to worry about that with the Lutron blinds. They stay in alignment. So again, just helping with the look.
I've had that where you pull the wrong cord and like it goes up like
half up,
oh, and you're trying to mess with it and stuff. I love it, man. I love Internet of Things. I mean, being a reviewer of Internet of Thing products, I have all the latest toys running around here. That's why I have to be careful what I say with the voice activated systems because whenever I'm doing the podcast, if I say the wrong word, it's like everything starts talking to me. Like, what do you want? What do you want?
Right.
But the Serena shades were just awesome, and it was so easy to deal with. Like I said, I was so worried about screwing it up, and I installed them myself, man. All it took was I've got my little screw blaster power unit. Put them in. It shows you how to do everything. The instructions were really clear. They walked me. The instructions were like a map, and they graphically showed me everything I need to do, which really helped. And it was really easy. I was really worried because when they came, there's a bigger part for the batteries, and it takes these D batteries that you put into it.
Yep.
And I was like, this thing looks really huge. But it installed really nice, looks really good, and works good with the Lutron. You guys just announced the Ring for those people who have the Ring on their front doors. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and we are so excited about that. Lutron, as you talked about briefly, we talked earlier about, Lutron products working with smart speakers. But Lutron products also work with, brands like Sonos for audio, and we work with thermostat companies. And now, Ring is the next alliance that Lutron was so excited to announce. And when we pick our alliances very carefully. We want to make sure that connecting your lights and your shades to another product is really going to add value for the homeowner. It's, kind of like when IoT craze started. Just because something can be connected to the internet doesn't mean that it should be. I mean, how many times have we said that walking the halls of CES and you're going, what is that that's connected? I won't name any products, of course, but I've definitely kind of stopped and scratched my head a few times walking the show in Vegas. So anyway, we've all learned that lesson. But Ring, when you think about what Ring's mission is, which is to make neighborhoods safer, and when you think about the power of light and how, light adds that sense of peace of mind. And even before our relationship with Ring, one of the great selling features of our Caseta system is its ability to create that peace of mind for you. So, for example, if you're leaving for the night or for the weekend, you can put, via the app, you can put your home on like a randomizer so that your lights are randomizing for a couple of hours. Or as you're pulling up to your house, you can set your geofence so that when you're within 1 mile, your 3 outside lights are going to come on and a bedroom light so that you're always walking into a lit house. So peace of mind has always been part of Lutron's Caseta story. So now, very recently, at the beginning of September, Lutron and Ring announced a new alliance where when your Ring doorbell is pressed or your outdoor camera senses motion, it will trigger inside lights to come on as part of the Caseta system or our next system up, which is called RAW2 Select. So anytime somebody, that person is detected, motion's detected, somebody rings that bell, your lights are going to automatically go on. And very customizable. You tell Ring and you tell Lutron which lights you want to come on. If you only want those lights to come on in the evening, you can customize that too. I have it set up in my own house. I'm a big fan of Ring devices, and it works beautifully. I absolutely love that added peace of mind that it gives me.
I love it too. We recently we had the kids. We have my dogs in the backyard, and the neighbor kids behind us. They're renowned for throwing balls or shoes, or for some reason they love to fling stuff over the fence accidentally, and so they'll come over and muck about the side of the house and try and see if they can get it from the dogs. And which is kind of concerned because I don't want the dogs to escape. They're Siberians, and so recently we caught them trying to get in the backyard and muck around. And they're not up to anything unofficial, but the fact that we can let people know. And I love how the lights go on, because I got one of the first rings when it first came out that we reviewed on the Chris Voss Show, and we've had them. We love the rings. I've sold so many rings. I probably should have, been making money off of it. And the thing about the ring is you can be at the store, and if somebody rings your doorbell and you get, whether it's the Seventh-day Adventist or the seller of the stuff, selling different things. And one of the things that used to make me nervous was, especially if the guys were selling stuff, and this is really big in Vegas. I don't know about other parts of the country, but there are guys that would go around and they would use that to case homes. They would present themselves as pest control sellers or some sort of marketer. And then when they figured out you weren't home, they would break in. And so one of the things that I used to make me wary about the ring was, I would answer and be like, hey, what's up, man? And sometimes I'd be at the store or down the road, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not there right now, but yeah, I can't deal with you, or come to the door. And I'm like, man, they could break in my home right now because they know I'm not home. And so I would worry about it. And so I love this idea of where the lights come on, they're going to get the impression that I'm home, and they're going to get that concept of like, oh, well, yeah, they're here. Okay. So they're just not coming to the door.
Yeah.
That from a security aspect.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, it's a great additional feature, and everybody wants their home to be as secure as possible, and family to be secure. So I just love the idea of this added level of, to your point, not only can I tell people, hey, not interested, can't come to the door, it's a second, but to your point, now if there's any doubt to the person in the, who they're catching on the camera or ringing the bell, now with that extra added layer of seeing one or two or multiple lights come on, I mean, I would guess that person's going to think twice about doing anything shady.
Yeah. I mean, I really see it as an added feature to what the Ring does, because I've seen so many Ring videos. I mean, we've all kind of watched those Ring videos where the creep goes up to the door. Sometimes they're after Amazon packages. That's the big thing now. Yeah. And a lot of times they don't know anyone's there until somebody talks through the Ring. But the fact the lights will come on and everything else, they can go, oh, crap, here it is. There's a lot of people who have put rings on the back door. And I've seen in Vegas where they'll come through the, jump the back fence, come to the back door, and then, the lights will come on with the Lutron stuff. So I think this is a definite added benefit to it. So I think it's awesome you guys have taken add to this. I don't know if you want to name some of the other people in the app. Honeywell, Thermostat, you guys are integrated. Nest, you guys are integrated with. Carrier and Ecobee, and of course Sonos system you guys are integrated with. So all those different systems, if you have them and the IoT features on them, I guess will integrate with Lutron.
Yeah. So, and again, to your point, all of the smart speakers, so Apple, Amazon, and Google. So we've got everybody covered.
It's like my whole house is like listening to me at this point. I don't, and sometimes, sometimes my mom will get into arguments with some of the different IoT things, and she's like, I'll hear her screaming like, "Yeah, stop the thing!" And so it's funny to see. This is the world we live in with coronavirus. We're taking care of it.
Well, it's funny. My mom's name is Alexis, and so she actually had to. My parents had to move their Alexa unit, because if she would be on the phone and she'd be like, oh, hi, this is Alexis, Alexa would hear some version of, Alexa, close enough, Alexis, and would, can I help you, I'm sorry, what can I help So they actually had to move their smart speaker to another room. But they love it. They love it. So
having an IoT home, and I'm really surprised, and maybe I've just always been on the cutting edge because we review these products, but I'm really surprised at how many people don't have these stuff in their homes, and it's really inexpensive, especially with Lutron. I mean, sometimes we get some stuff that's like crazy expensive, and I'm like, do I need a mortgage? Do I have to get a second mortgage on the home to put this in? But everything is really inexpensive to put into the homes and get the Lutron hooked up. It's very easy to hook up. There's not that usually you've got the Lutron base model that will plug into your Wi-Fi, or you can hook it up with an extension, depending upon, how you want to set up your thing. But usually it just plugs right in your Wi-Fi. The bridge takes and runs itself, runs all the different Lutron devices. It's really easy to add them on. It's like a total no-brainer. I can't see why anybody wouldn't want to have them attach to their system and just make the lights better, set the mood better. Being able to, even I forget sometimes, I'm like, I should turn that light down because it's really bright. And you're like laying in bed and you're like trying to read a book or maybe watch your thing. And you're like, the lights are blasting me right now. And you're like, I don't want to get up. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
And being able to say, hey, turn the lights down to 20% or 5% or whatever is so nice. And then change colors if you want and different things. I love being able to do that.
Well, and to your point, Chris, I think I've been with Lutron for 22 years. I've seen a lot of changes, not only at Lutron but within the smart home industry in general. And the shift that I always like to talk about is I feel like as recently as even 5 years ago, smart home gadgets were still being viewed as gadgets. They were not viewed as problem solvers. They were not being viewed as, things that's going to make life easier or, things that's going to help me remotely care for a loved one. Like these were a lot of people were looking at these things and saying, oh, gosh, I'm not lazy. What do I need a remote control for this for? What do I need to be able to know about this on my phone for? But, flip the conversation and, to the point we were talking about earlier, when all of a sudden you say to somebody, do you prefer walking into a completely dark house at night? Do you like having to leave your lights on 12 hours a day while you're home because you don't have the ability to control them? Well, most likely you're going to answer no. And, when you start explaining to people that, with a Caseta kit or, fill in the blank brand, others do it, under $100, you can have a great peace of mind story. And all of a sudden you can now pull up to a lit house. You can now, like I talked about earlier, randomize lights when you're not home. So all of a sudden this smart home product is no longer a gadget, but it's something that's going to add value to my life and it's going to make my life easier. And I think we are definitely seeing that happen. And I think we have a lot of the smart speaker companies to thank for that because, with a very low investment, you now can have a friend tell you the news and, give you recipes and add things to your shopping list. And it's a great entree into smart home, just like Caseta is a great entree into lighting control, and that's why it's great that we sell these small starter kits. You can start small. Maybe you just want to do your outside lights. Maybe you've got a Ring doorbell and you want to, make this under $100 investment. And, now when somebody rings your bell, your porch light goes on, your patio light goes on, what have you. And all of a sudden you've just changed the game at your home. So I think the more we see people kind of understanding those real life benefits, I think we're going to see adoption skyrocket even more than what we've seen so far.
I think security is a big thing for women too. Like being able to, as you're coming home and you break the geofence that you have and it triggers your lights to turn on, if your home was ever being robbed or invaded or something, it would signal to them that something's about to happen and maybe the cops are being called or something and they probably run off. It certainly would make it so you're not walking into a dark home. I know one of the things I like is being able to turn on my lights when I walk in my room because I'm usually playing with the dogs and like, oh, you're just at the store and I'm dealing with them and I don't have to deal with and I don't want to fight with the lights and I got to walk across the room to go turn that on. I know a lot of parents are home right now, so they're juggling the kids because the kids are home now. They're in schooling, and so moms and dads are doing 50 million things, probably carrying a baby or two. And, just being able to yell out and turn on the lights, it makes all the difference in the world. And after a while, you get really used to it. Like you get really spoiled because you're just like, every now and then I'll be like, where's the light switch again? And so it's really funny. And then, like I say, anytime I'm talking to people, like whether I'm on a call or whether I'm, gaming or something, people are like, did you just do what I think you did? And I'm like, yeah, turn off.
Oh, that's funny.
And a lot of times,
and it's amazing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
A lot of times, I'll let you go.
I'll be quiet. Go ahead. No. Go. It's your show.
All right. Sounds good. All right. No, a lot of times, my favorite thing to do is I actually go to bed with the lights on because I don't go look for them and stuff. And then when I'm in bed and I know I've got the dogs there and everything's settled in, then I, it's bedtime, turn on the lights and away we go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say, it's amazing how everybody's going to have their own killer app, right? For you, it's going to bed, not having to remember where all the lights are. For your mom, it's being able to ask Google to, do things for her. For some people who maybe entertain a lot, it's the ability to, tell your voice assistant to set party mode, and all of a sudden lights in 7 different rooms change when we can have parties again, I guess. But anyway, everybody's going to have their own, that one special thing that really kind of is that aha moment that they're like, okay, $100 or less investment can build over time. Yeah, you know what, this makes sense. And we're lucky that this cost of smart home products have gone down so significantly and that they are so affordable, because I do, like I said before, the benefits, the ability to simplify daily routines and just giving yourself that peace of mind. It's at any cost, it would be a bargain, but the fact that you can do it so inexpensively is just really tremendous for the homeowner.
And then the other great thing is they're always adding features and different benefits or like integrations, like what you guys did recently.
Yeah.
With Ring, and it just automatically downloads the updates or firmwares that you don't have to go out and buy new crap every year.
Right.
And that makes all the difference in the world. So
it really does. Yeah.
You can see a lot of the reviews we've done on the Lutron products. You just can go to chrisvoss.com, thechrisvossshow.com, and type in Lutron, and you can see all the different products we reviewed over there. And I think there's some more coming we're reviewing next week. Anything more, Melissa, we need to know about you guys and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I would just say, stay tuned. Lutron has been innovating for 60 years. Like I said, we're about to celebrate 60 years in 2021. And like I said, for your listeners who might not be ready to make that leap to a smart home, there are some very, very cool, very high-tech looking, feeling products that are going to give you all those same benefits of the ability to control lights, but just without having to have them connected to the internet. And the motion sensor is one of my favorite things, great for when you're walking into a laundry room and you've got your laundry in your hands, or you're coming in a back door and you've got, kids or pets or sports equipment, not having to use your elbow to, turn on the light. A motion sensor is really great. So, smart home means different things to different people. And for some, being able to walk into a room and have their motion turn the light on, like that is a smart home for a lot of people. So I love that Lutron can bring people all these different products at a variety of prices that are very easy to use and intuitive for, whoever in the family might be using them. That's one of the things Lutron really prides itself on, is making sure that these products are as beautiful as they are functional. So we really design from the outside in and make sure that whether it's grandma, a 5-year-old, or visitors, everyone in between, you're going to be able to understand which button to press to make those shades go up or down, or to make that light go on.
Yeah, I love it too. One of the reasons I go to bed with the lights on is because, I have dogs, and I'm sure people have kids, and there's always the Legos on the floor that you're going to step on. And with my dogs, there's like always a bone or a tree running around somewhere. So you can crawl into bed and have the lights turned off. So you're not, people, in the old days, I used to do the thing where you turn the light off on the switch and then you're like, where's the bed? And you're like, breaking a foot off, trying to figure out where the dogs are and fighting with them. And of course they take over the bed. And then the beautiful thing is, if they got to go out in the middle of the night, or I have to get up in the middle of the night, I can turn the lights on with my voice, and then I'm not tripping over whatever and bumping into stuff in the middle of the night. So just the whole automatic feature of it, where you feel like you're living in this virtual world of the Jetsons, when you're a kid.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, just being able to call out and go, hey, fix this stuff and make it ready for me. And it just adds more ease to your life. There's nothing worse than in the old days. I remember I would go to bed and you left the kitchen light on. You're like, oh, I got to go all the way to the kitchen.
Right.
So there you go. Folks, check it out. You can go to Lutron.com. That's Lutron.com. And I believe it's Serena Shades for the wood shades.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
There you go. SerenaShades.com.
SerenaShades.com. Yep.
And of course, you can find the links on the Chris Voss Show as well. And watch a review of the wood blinds. I got to tell you, the wood blinds were really nice. I mean, they are sweet looking, beautiful, and I really believe they add value to your home. I mean, if my mom were to ever sell her home, they would go into that room and be like, "This is really nice in here."
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you had such an easy time with them too. And I think just as a closing thought, Lutron does offer 24/7, 365 free regional tech support. So, if you decide to, do these as a DIY and you have any questions, just call the free toll-free number and they'll walk you through the process. They actually get people who call them from retail stores and say, I'm not sure what is a multi-location, they'll actually help you through that process as well. So it's a wonderful resource. And like I said, help is always just a free phone call away. So glad to hear you're such a fan. We appreciate it. And thanks again for having me on today.
There you go. Thanks for coming on, Melissa. We certainly appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out Lutron.com or SerenaShades.com for the wood blinds or the other blinds. There's all the variants that are over there. Check those out. I love the automation. I mean, it's actually cool to show off. We put up videos on social media on Facebook, and we're like, watch what we do with the blinds. And people are like, oh my God. Okay. And so it's a lot of fun. And like I say, we've always given Lutron great reviews over the years. Love their products. They're very inexpensive compared to some of the stuff that we see. The prices have come down over the years, but for what you get and what the build is and the qualities there, they'll last years for you and you'll do well. Thanks to Melissa for being with us. Thanks to Lutron. And thanks to my audience. Be sure to go to the CVPN, refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss if you want to see the video version of all of our videos. You can hit the bell notification and all that good stuff. Also go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. You can subscribe to us there. All the great authors that we have. We just booked the great comedian Michael Ian Black, who's going to be on the show in a week or two talking about his latest book. So check that out. Some pretty cool authors coming up. Thanks to my audience for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.